Day of the Dead is not Mexican Halloween. Contrary to what is often portrayed in popular culture, the Day of the Dead is not Mexico's version of Halloween. Even though they fall around the same time of year and have similarities, the two are different holidays with separate origins and unique traditions. Halloween has its origins in the Celtic harvest festival of Samhain, while Day of the Dead is rooted in the ancient religious traditions of Mesoamerica's indigenous population. Halloween, as it is practiced today, involves trick or treating, wearing costumes, and decorating pumpkins. Day of the Dead traditions involve none of those things. In Halloween, spirits are seen as scary or something to be warded off. Day of the Dead focuses on receiving the souls of dead relatives with joy and hospitality. The roots of Day of the Dead run deep in Mexican history and date back to the days before the Spanish conquest. Pre-Columbian civilizations had a variety of celebrations aimed at honoring the dead. However, many of the traditions we know today come from the religious practices of the Aztecs, who believed different afterlives existed depending on how people died. One of these is Mictlan, the final destination for those who died of natural causes, and ruled by the goddess Mictecacihuatl, often represented by a skull. The Aztecs believed that in order to reach Mictlan, souls had to complete an arduous journey. To help the deceased along this journey, the Aztecs would make offerings of useful objects at their relatives' burial sites. Several Aztec holidays involved rituals to honor the deceased, including decorating tree stumps and placing offerings for dead relatives. These traditions set the precedent for the ofrendas, or Day of the Dead altars, placed by Mexican families today. In the days preceding the holiday, it is customary to build a shrine to honor one's deceased relatives. These shrines, referred to in Spanish as ofrendas, are bright, colorful, and ornate. They're adorned in orange and purple, the holiday's traditional colors, and decorated with flowers, including marigolds, and decorated paper crafts, including the traditional papel picado. Placed atop these altars are photographs of the deceased, objects that were precious to them, and foods they enjoyed in life. These sit alongside sugar skulls, candles, the traditional pan de muertos, crosses, and statues and icons of Jesus and saints. Secular and non-Catholic Mexicans will often avoid placing this religious iconography on their ofrendas. While many would expect Day of the Dead to be a solemn memorial day, it is actually a joyous occasion, meant as a celebration of life. Instead of everything being dark and somber, as is commonly associated with mourning rituals, the holiday is bright and colorful, with decorations filling nearly every home and public space in the country. It is common to have celebratory meals with family, as well as street parties with music and dancing. In many towns, there are celebratory processions involving masks, puppets, and colorful costumes. Given that Day of the Dead is a festivity, it has become common to interject classic Mexican humor to add to the lightheartedness of the occasion. Day of the Dead art often features skeletons drinking, dancing, and celebrating, and these skeletons are often depicted in humorous situations. Since the 19th century, the holiday has become synonymous with the art of Mexican cartoonist Jose Guadalupe Posada, who created quirky skeleton-based art and characters, including the iconic La Catrina. A central part of the holiday involves going to the cemetery and spending time at the graves of loved ones. In preparation for Day of the Dead, families will clean and wash the graves of their departed and decorate them with candles and flowers such as marigolds. They will bring offerings of food that the deceased enjoyed and objects that were meaningful to them in life. In the case of children, toys will be brought to the gravesite. In many parts of the country, families will share a meal alongside the graves of their relatives, while sharing stories and memories about the loved ones they have lost. The flor de cempasúchil, also known as Mexican marigold, is a bright orange flower that grows around Mexico during autumn. It has become an important symbol of the Day of the Dead. Around the time of the holiday, it is seen everywhere, from ofrendas to public buildings and even parks. The reason for this is not only the fact that it is a seasonal flower, but also because of the flower's uniquely strong smell. This smell is believed, according to Mexican folklore, to attract spirits. For this reason, it is traditionally placed in ofrendas to attract the souls of the deceased to their living relatives' homes. The flower is also strongly associated with the sun and rebirth, given its orange color. Like any special occasion in Mexico, food plays a vital role. The traditional meal often includes Mexican favorites like tamales and atole, but what most people look forward to during the season are the desserts. The main item of food associated with the holiday is pan de muertos, a delicious loaf of sweetbread coated in sugar and decorated to resemble a pile of bones.
The full moon at Halloween, with the last one happening in 2020. The Celtic tradition of Samhain held that the spirits of the dead were able to come back to earth among the living. Those who wandered did so under a full moon.
Like any special occasion in Mexico, food plays a vital role. The traditional meal often includes Mexican favorites like tamales and atole, but what most people look forward to during the season are the desserts. The main item of food associated with the holiday is pan de muertos, a delicious loaf of sweetbread coated in sugar and decorated to resemble a pile of bones.